All right. The stream is live. I'm hoping I have decent video quality, but I'll find out on the replay because right now I'm with one device and I have hopes that the video quality is better. There's one person here. Do you want to put in the live chat how the video quality is? Um, what do I want to talk about? Hmm. Um, there's so much that could be talked about. Um, who knows what's going on? That's that's uh, that's a hard question to answer. Um, there is so much content these days. It's it can be overwhelming. It can be overwhelming, and discerning what's what's worth your time and what isn't. It can also be quite quite a load. It can become overwhelming, um, and so sometimes we gotta kick back and regroup a little bit. And that's uh, that's a process that I have been through time and time and time again over these last several years. Um, it's easy to get caught up in the hype and the moment, and we've all been conditioned for many things. One of which is quick gratification. Uh, Click and get the answer. Um, Click and fact check, and and what have we learned through all of that? Well, what I've learned is deception, 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 lies, 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 deception with little hints of truth. Um, and that 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 really seems to be the case yet today. Um, and now I'm pretty shadow banned, right? Right? Yeah, you know I am. They burned my books. They burned my books. They burned my records. They've deleted and deleted, and um, and I can't yet. Um, I can't yet break through on any part of the matrix. The dentist, they run. They run and they hide. The doctors, they run and they hide. The judges, they run and they hide. the policy enforcers, the sheriff, the police, they run and they hide. The politicians, they run and they hide. The the First Amendment auditors, they run and they hide. The truthers, truther podcasters, patriot podcasters, they run and they hide. And it's quite amazing. It's quite amazing to me, the 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 fear of the truth, the fear of the truth. Oh, uh, that is crazy. Fear of the truth. Speak the truth, and people run. They hide. And others, they attack and do everything they can to destroy not only the truth, but the messenger. And this isn't the world I want to live in. This is not the world I want to live in. It's pretty damn disgusting. I'm gonna check the chat. I want to see. All right, so I have no idea if the video quality is any better than it was, than it has been, but I'm thinking it might be. I disabled 5G on the phone. I disabled it. I'm hoping, and I got the cell signal amplifier, and so I'm hoping that a strong 4G is going to be more stable than a weak 5G. And the 5G doesn't hold, so it's bouncing back and forth between 5G and 4G. So I think all that instability was part of the problem. So I'm hoping that by deleting the 5G connection off the phone, that I get a little bit better quality video on this. So I keep trying. And I suppose I'm happy to port. I'm happy to port to you that there has been so many advancements in oral care that I'm not certain. I'm not certain why, but we've seen some toothbrush technology. There was a bite, like like these tooth cleaning trays kind of thing, but it was like for cleaning. And it's been a couple of years, but this was supposed to be something awesome, and then we don't hear about it. Now xylitol is something that has been well known for a long time, but they've really kept the book closed on that one. Yeah, they certainly have. And so more and more, I see information being shared about xylitol, and xylitol is a sweetener. It's a sugar substitute, and it kills the bad bacteria. It kills the bacteria that forms the plaques, and the plaques are a breeding ground for the bacteria. So you kill the bad bacteria, um, you eliminate that part of the formulation for the plaques, and it's plaques are formed from saliva, carbohydrates, and bacteria, the bad bacteria. So more and more and more, I'm seeing stuff about xylitol, which is something that I could have used along with my patented formulations. Um, Something that I could have promoted even separately for those that would be opposed to cannabis. Um, and because the goal here is oral health and and to stop the slavery. Um, Originally, one of my original thoughts on this was good. We can stop putting people through the system, the jails, the courts, the prisons. Stop putting people in prison for a God given natural herb that has a miraculous health benefit, scientifically proven by yours truly. I'm the only man in the world. I'm the first man in the world to publicly bring forward science that cannabis is essential for the good health of man and mammal. Essential. And it does things that science says are impossible, like gum tissue rejuvenation. So, um, I'm really happy that more and more information is coming out about good oral health. Now, this would be a good time to have that second device because I'd play a clip for you. Uh, a recent talk by Michael Jaco. I don't know who this character that he had on, but they're discussing health and they're discussing the effects from the Jabberdewy, and they're talking about the C word, the big C, right? And this guy says something to the effect that they've been looking at the wrong thing, and he attributes the majority of it to root canals and crowns. And I'm like, what? I mean, this comes right out of the blue. And um, right about the 48-minute mark in the talk. Um, so this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. More and more and more exposure is coming out with so many things, but on the issue of toxic teeth and good oral health and the ways to prevent the poor oral health. So, interestingly enough, it was a Jayco show. About a year ago, he had a guy on, and this guy said that one Novocaine injection has the toxicity of, wait for it, wait for it. One Novocaine injection has a toxicity of, almost let my cigarette go out here, which, I'm exercising my lungs. One Novocaine injection has the toxicity of 200,000 cigarettes. One Novocaine injection. I, 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 I don't know if I could guess within 20. If you put a gun to my head and said, Ethan, you got 1 hour. You got 1 hour to tell us how many Novocaine injections you've had in your lifetime within 20. If I had a gun pointed to my head and I had an hour to think about it, I don't know if I could be within 20. How many times were those teeth worked on? Sometimes they'll give you 3 Novocaine injections for one tooth, for one procedure. Um, Over the course of my life, I've had a lot of procedures, and all of them were preventable. All of them were preventable. Uh, there's a so there was a gum. There's been a gum out on the market, xylitol, a gum with xylitol, and in recent weeks, maybe even as far back as a couple of months, I've been seeing advertisements for, I think it's called hydroxyapatite, and kind of a strange name. Hydroxyapatite. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And it is xylitol and something else. And the way they advertise it is that the xylitol kills the bad bacteria, and the hydroxyapatite side remineralizes your teeth, heals the cavities. And that it's stronger, it's natural, and the enamel comes back, and it's stronger than anything that a dentist could do. And the dentist doesn't have to do anything because you've eliminated the cavity. So, you know, as I suppose somebody could argue, we don't need oral health with cannabis. We have hydroxyapatite. We have xylitol. Um, but hydroxyapatite and xylitol scare people. Um, I've talked about the xylitol quite a bit, but some people are scared to death of it. Um, the xylitol can Well, it can give you the shits. It's certainly going to give you gas and bloating, but that's because it's killing the bad bacteria down below, and then you got to flush that stuff out. So, um, as with anything, you go slow. You go slow, and you go through the adjustment period. So, um, I consume xylitol daily, multiple times a day. I use my cannabis, um, not as much as I should. Um, not as much as I should, but I've got some good stuff, and as far as I know, the remaining teeth I have are alive. I don't have dead teeth in my mouth anymore. So, uh, how come I can't get a platform? Because this is scary. This is so scary. It's unbelievable to me. Um, and so the powers of control of the flow of information, of knowledge, of science and technology has been what kind of Babylonian words do we want to use to describe it? Ugly, dark, bad intentioned, and the system has been weaponized to control us, to brainwash us, to get us into believing falsehoods. And so, somewhere within the last year, I took a very strong position that I'm done believing. I'm not going to, I don't believe, and I don't not believe. Believe is not part of my life. That gets us into a lot of trouble. So I either know or I don't know. Now, a lot of us want to know what the fuck is going on in the matrix with the day to day around the world, on top and below. We want to know, and you got a lot of people out there telling you they know, they know, and to me, for the most part, this is like listening to a preacher or a minister or how all the different names for that kind of character, right? telling you how it is. How the fuck do they know? They don't. They believe, and so they tell you that's how it is. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the science. They don't have facts for what they're telling you. And so you got all these podcasters truthers, patriots, and some of them are big on God. And they tell you, God told me. God told me. That ain't going to cut it with me. And it's not going to cut it with me. And over the years, all the God told me's, whatever came to fruition. Hmm? I think we got to sort things out. We have to sort things out. Hey guys, telling you about a global military alliance. You got guys telling you about a galactic federation. Um, you got guys telling you about devolution. You got guys telling you about cryptocurrency. You got guys telling you about wars. You get guys telling you so many things. There's a lot that I haven't touched on, but these are, I think, some of the ones I rattled off are some hot spots, hot points. Anybody has a question anytime, put it in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer it. So, does anybody really know what's going on? Does anybody really know what's the truth and what's a psyops? Um, I can speak from my experience, and and I guess that it will also include my observations and where I end up in critical thought, that I could share with you. So it looks like there's a lot of central casting out there. It looks like there's a lot of psyops out there. It looks like a lot of the tools that were used to dumb us down enslave us are being used in a sting operation in a very large, extremely large, gigantic operation. That's what it looks like to me. Now, I want you to ask yourself questions. I want you to ask yourself questions. Now, do you know that we've been in a corporation? You know that we've been in a corporation, and we've been slaved into this corporation. I think you know that. I don't think you have to believe it or not believe it. You either know it or you don't know it, and I think you know it. So we keep hearing about the courts, how corrupted the courts are. So there's a lot of people that know that. So the assemblies, um, there's three big ones, and then there's several others. And then you got Patriot Street Fighter um, promoting tactical civics, and you got a lot of people learning about civics. Certainly, the assemblies should have some kind of a clue on civics. Uh, and the majority of these people know about the bar. And the majority of them will say British accredited registry. But this guy who captured the flag, and I'll refer to him as Russell or Rusty, but full colon Russell hyphen J colon Gould, period, uh, is a man that captured the flag. So he's going to tell you about martial law. He's going to tell you about entering into contract with the Navy. Um, he tells you a lot of things. He has done a lot of things, and to date, a couple of key points. To date, no one has discredited him. No one has proven anything about what he brings forward to be false or fake. Point number two, what the man has done is beyond incredible. It is to the point of superhuman. And yet, very few people know about Russell. Very few people know about Russell compared to a character like Trump. All right, now, Trump is very well known. Got to be one of the most well known on the planet. And what Trump has done, people would say, people do say, he's the only guy who could do it. Oh, wait a minute. What do you mean? He's the only guy who could do it. These accomplishments of the Trump are beyond what one man can do. In the theaters that he's operating in, it it is impossible. So how's he getting it done? How's he getting it done? So one of these guys who claims to know what's going on, and he might very well know a lot, is Mr. 107 or 107 or Juanito. And there's been a handful of times or less that Juanito has told us that Trump is a military operation. One time, Nino said to Juan, blah, 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 Trump's a military operation. And Juanito responds to Nino, Nino, Nino. He responds to say, I'm glad you said it that way. So here's these two adult men, patriots, truthers. One is a fear mongering pussy, 6'5", heavyweight champion pussy of the world, fear mongering motherfucker. He's an adult. He has a huge following, and he uses a paywall. Juanito, can we finish this conversation over on the back channel where people have to pay for the information? And you've got Juanito, who has said many different times, many different ways, that Trump is a military operation. Who invited Trump to run? Who's backing Trump? Now, I don't know. I'm in the I am not going to believe, and I'm not going to not believe. I got to know, or I don't know. And right now, I don't know. But I have studied, and I've studied, and I've studied. I've absorbed an incredible amount of content. Being isolated forced into retirement with virtually the minusculest interaction with society. Gives me a tremendous amount of time. And the way that I have been attacked for the good things that I brought forward, oh, that's given me a big reason to fight. And to fight in these territories requires intelligence. It requires some savvy, it requires some smarts, and it requires some cojones. And it requires a lot of patience. And the years keep grinding on. I got to roll another cigarette. So, Juanito is a guy that professes to have knowledge. And he is a guest on show after show after show after show. I haven't seen a Juanito show where Juan gets out and broadcasts. He's always a guest. And tell us, Juan, please, oh great Juan of knowledge, please tell us what's going on. And Juan is a weaver. He's a long-winded weaver, so a lot of people lose patience with him, and then everybody's frustrated because of all the chaos and all the discord. But Juan is a guy that apparently has inside tracks. Now, what's his range, right? Well, what is his range? What shows does he appear on? Who does he talk with? It is a limited limited network. I think that's a good way to classify it. And so where am I leading with this? Where am I leading with this? We have we've got this character Mike King, who been around for a while. He's been around for a while. Real news and history is his forte. Real news and history is his forte. And he talks, he's a guy who I think he's he's either the guy or one of the guys who pushed out the Newsweek article about the 60,000 man secret army. Now, some will say the Pentagon 60,000 man secret army. I'm not sure, but I think that's the way it comes across from the Newsweek article. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not Newsweek, but I think it is Newsweek. But it doesn't matter. It was a major mainstream publication that published about the 60,000 man secret Pentagon army. And there are those that call it Trump's 60,000 man secret army. Narrative control is how we got fucked. Walter Cronkite, Dan Rather, Morley Safer, Barbara Walters. Right, these are names that we're going back, right? You would tune in to the television for your trusted news source, and it was all television. It was television, lies and lies. Well, in that was also predictive programming. So to reverse it, if there is a coup, and we'll call it a global coup to take down a global empire, wouldn't it make sense that narrative control would be key? So I think about all these guys, all these truthers, all these patriots that run for me, hide for me. And I I have a critical thought on this. My critical thinking is the vast majority of these guys and gals are a part of the 60,000 man secret army. I am I have a very my meter, my bullshit meter is telling me that the majority of these are part of the 60,000 man secret army. I am blown away from time to time on some of the connections. So you got a truth or patriot that's always over here. He's always over here. He's in this circle, and he's never ever over into this circle or this circle or this circle or this circle. And the years go by, and then one day, someone in this circle will talk about this guy and say, "My good friend." It's like, what? My good friend. And sometimes they'll talk about him. Sometimes they'll bring him on as a guest on the show. And so now all of a sudden another connection is made, another connect the dots. There's no denying it. Um, could it all be CGI? Yeah, it could. It could all be CGI, but that's narrative control. You got so many talking heads out there, and they get stuck they get stuck. And one of the main areas that they all get stuck in is flag law. None of them will talk flag law. Now, from time to time, they'll make a mention about the yellow fringed, or they'll call it a gold fringe, a gold fringe flag, or they'll comment the flag had no gold fringe on it, or, something really soft. And that's only a blip in their presentation. They never talk flag law. They never talk flag law. None of them. None of them. And they don't want to talk about it. So, why? Why does nobody want to talk about flag law and the mutilation of the flag? Control. And so I had a visualization that is new. It's a new visualization for me. You see, we've heard over and over and over from those that say that they know that the cabal wants us in a civil war. They want us, the people, to be involved in the chaos, in creating the chaos, physically in the battle, out on the streets. And baby, you can bet that's where I'd be if there were any men that would stand with me. And I will flip Kalkaska County. I'll run these motherfuckers out because they cannot face me. Now, a 2.5 hour meeting with the jail sergeant at the sheriff's department because Fat Fuckford, Pussy Sheriff Fat Fuckford, and Pussy Under Sheriff David Wagentails didn't have the balls to meet with me. I spent 2.5 hours with that jail sergeant. Less than 30 days later, the prosecuting attorney who prosecuted me in the middle of his third term boot, scoot, boogied. And a couple months later, the jail sergeant and the entire jail staff vacated. And poor old Fat Fuckford and Wagentails had to move all their inmates to another cage in another location in another county. You see, none of these fuckers can face me. And all they can do is sick their trained dogs on me. But if I had real men standing with me that were willing to die on the spot if need be, we would be able to hold the dogs down and educate them. And they would do like the jail sergeant and the jail staff and the prosecuting attorney, and they will vacate. And some of them will likely come over and join our side. And then we win. Now the county is ours, it belongs to the people. And then we go capture that mutilated flag in that demonic court, that district court. District court means court of demonic god worship. A circuit court, probably the same. And so, anyways, my vision, my vision is things like, I think about that. I think about organizing, get enough people together, driving without a license plate, without registration, without insurance, and showing the people how it's done. And then get the people to join. And the next thing you know, we got 1,000 people in the train, then 20,000, then 50,000. And then the whole world wakes up and Jesus. All right. This would be very chaotic. Potentially very chaotic. I show America how to flip a county, then everybody's going to want to flip their counties. Well, there's a report out here within the last few days. The question was, how many gang members are there in Chicago? Not Illinois, Chicago. How many gang members? It's 100,000 plus. 100,000 plus career criminals. So that should give you a little clue on the massive cleanup that's needed, because that doesn't take into account the corrupt judiciary. That doesn't take into account the corrupt policy departments, all of them. It doesn't take into account many, many, many facets of corruption in institution and organization abound. And so if I put myself in the shoes of the guys that have put this plan together to take out the corruption, to take out the malevolent, to take out the evil, to take out the demonic, to get rid of the parasitic slave system and all its indoctrinations. Well, they really don't need a bunch of wildcats creating a bunch of chaos. And I have done so much. I contracted Sovereign with a post that has been wiped from the internet. I scientifically prove what cannabis does for oral health, and the National Institute of Health ignores my science, ignores my right to industry, fund $1.8 billion to find another way, and they fail. Wiped from the internet. Gone. No trace of it. Could this be because of the good guys? Could it be the good guys that wiped the bad guys' failure from the internet? The bad guys being the National Institute of Health. Now, would it be in the National Institute of Health's interest to make that all disappear when people are fact checking me? Oh, yeah. And that's where my mind has been. But the more that I think about this, the more that I ponder on it, the the more I don't know. The more I don't know. But it makes a lot of sense to me that it's the white hats that are oppressing and suppressing my information. So if we think about the Truther Patriot podcast community, and you got people that specialize in health, you got people that specialize in quote unquote Constitution. Um, you got guys that are well versed on the situation with the bar, and and again, that's I think the proper phrase for that acronym is British Accredited Regency, because that's what Chief says, and that's the only time I've ever heard it. And all these years I've been hearing British Accredited Registry, which would make sense that the black hats would fuck us on that too, right? Oh, we caught you, British Accredited Registry. Ha ha ha. You don't know what you're talking about. We're British Accredited Regency. You see, it is the simplest little, slightest little, they manipulate every motherfucking thing. So, I contracted Sovereign using postal mechanics. I gave the American people a land location for a court of law, and then I operated. I called the sheriff, the undersheriff, the prosecutor, judge, chief of police, court clerk, postmaster out of Kalkaska. Of course, none of them showed. Five people out of America, 3 from Kalkaska, 2 from Pennsylvania, were here. They were here for the big event. Now, before they got here, and on that same day, a little after midnight, there was an assassin team here. 2 days before court and 1 day before court, the military was here with Black Hawk helicopters. I had to figure a lot of shit out. And then I didn't just figure shit out and talk about it. I acted. I took action. And then I reported on the actions that I took. That's been my modus operation. Do and tell. Do and tell. Do and teach. do and teach. So I am convinced that it's not my time to be platformed by anybody, by anybody. So I got the deep state targets all over me, and I got the white hats holding me down. That's a tough spot to be in. There's two people here. Is there two people or three? This video is damn near viral. Two people. How is the picture quality? Freedom says hello. Doesn't peroxide also kill all the bad bacteria? I don't know, but some things kill the good and the bad bacteria, and you don't want to kill the good bacteria. Freedom says men don't want to die for anything anymore. That would take balls, not to mention passion and strong conviction for what they believe in. Freedom then says, how about the surveillance cameras everywhere? Now they're using drones and they can mail you a ticket from a camera taking a picture of you. Yes, that's right. How's the picture quality? Is it sharp and clear? Is it any better than what we've had? Thank you for the comments, Freedom. I hope you're still here. That last question, I got to take a look again. Oh yeah, the surveillance cameras. I spent a lot of time in China. Over the course of 5 years, I made 50 trips to China. Many of them 30-day stays. One time I did a 30-day stay. I went to Hong Kong, came back to China for another 30-day stay. Man, by the time I got home, my brain was scrambled. That was too much China for me. And in those 5 years, I saw a lot of changes in China. China, the majority of the people didn't have landlines. Huge population, no landlines, no phones. And there was a cell phone explosion in China. And the idea was to get it into everybody's hands. They didn't care really about tracking you then because you would get SIM cards. That street vendors would have them. All the stores would have them, and you put a SIM card in. So that SIM card was not labeled to you, so they could track you. But that all changed. Well, they're getting everybody with the cell phones. They're putting the cameras up everywhere, and that's exactly how it happens in China. You're driving down the road, and your tire touches the line. Now you've gone out of your lane. Camera catches it. They mail you a ticket. The surveillance is part of reality, and the technology needs to be used for good and not for control. It needs to be used for good and not for control. It needs to be used for good feeling. And out in public, who cares? If you're in public, you're in public. I think where it really matters is when it starts invading your privacy, like your refrigerator spying on you, like your video cameras that you got set up for surveillance, spying on you, your cell phone spying on you, right? This kind of stuff. No. Tracking your personal moves, tracking your personal transactions, tracking your personal life. No, no, not unless you've crossed the line, and you should be tracked because you're being a dumb fuck, a stupid fuck, an evil fuck. You know, maybe you're just being a dumb fuck and a stupid fuck, and you need to be straightened out, and you'd be happy to be straightened out. But maybe you're an evil fuck and you just need to be dealt with. Um, so technology is not going away. Technology is not going away. And thank you for the comments and the questions. Um, Technology is not going away. Now, is anybody keeping up with Ashton Forbes? ASHTONFORBES. Ashton Forbes. Now, this guy could very well be one of the 60,000 man secret army. Very well could be. But he's bringing the receipts and he is showing us how free energy has been hidden from us. And there's multiple forms of free energy. So, um, that changed the world. Uh, I mean, that changes everything. Not only have they been hiding free energy from us, they have weaponized it against us. The military is using nuclear weapons on civilians, creating wormholes, disappearing people, hiding this technology from us. Ashton brings the receipts. He really does an incredible job of it. And so we have such a flood of technological knowledge that's flooding on us that it's a little mind bending. Um, and this leads right into healing frequencies and the med bed technology. Um, so in order for a new a new way of living can come into play where you've got the advanced scientific technology available to the people. You have the advanced health and healing technology available to the people. Um, you can't have that world in a world where the people are lied to constantly, they are deceived constantly, they are toxified in virtually every way imaginable, physically, mentally, and spiritually. The they cannot thrive together. They can't. So in order for the good stuff to thrive, bad stuff needs to go away. The bad stuff needs to go away. So the fact that I'm still here, that I'm still sucking air, um, uh, could be because I have protection from the military. Could be. Holding me down, keeping me tucked away, but protecting me. Well, that means my time's if that is the case, that means my time's coming. And I need to be a little bit more patient. So I I've reached out and I've reached out and I've reached out, man, oh man. And I'm getting reminded of some of the places where I've reached out. People's YouTube channels are coming back. CanCon, CanCon. I think this guy CanCon, if I remember right, he was into cannabis, but he's also into patriot truther stuff, right? Um, no, he shut me down. But his YouTube channel's back. You got a lot of guys that had their YouTube channels back cut. All of a sudden, they're back. Um, so that I take that as a good sign. I take that as a good sign. Um, the District of Columbia has fallen. It's fallen. It's military control. And you got 600 JAG officers there, Judge Advocate Generals. The Law of War Manual has been revised, and the structure's been put in place for military and civilian courts, in basically a hybrid. Um, Big Pharma, there's Big Pharma has no future, based on the reports that I see. Um, so it looks like London has fallen, city state of London. Looks like that has fallen, right? So the next the next head of the Hydra that needs to come off would be the Vatican. Now that's a big one. That's a big one. And what will that do? Besides what it's going to do to the quote unquote believers, I think it will tank the banks. It'll tank the banks, crash the stock markets, and that will create a lot of chaos. That'll create a lot of chaos. I'll check the comments again. Um, Freedom says pitcher is great. Awesome. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. I so struggle with tech, but It looks like I came up with a workaround, and I have eliminated the Wi-Fi. I've eliminated the Wi-Fi. That's more poisoning that I have taken out of my life. And even though this cell signal amplifier is emitting electromagnetic frequency, um, the only time I really need to use it is to do a live stream, because I can make phone calls without it. I can surf the web without it. I can watch YouTube, Rumble. I can access Telegram. I can do all the things I would normally do uh, with simply the straight Verizon signal, and which is new. They put a tower up about 4 months ago, um, and it looked when I tested this last yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Um, the sound was good, but the video quality was not sharp, and um, I think that was because of instability, bouncing between 4G and 5G, and so the 5G is not good here yet, not good and strong, but it's here. And so I'm glad the picture's sharp. I hope it continues to be that way. So I'm thinking that this 60,000 man army is heavy, 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 heavy into all the platforms. Um, Whether it's locals or Twitch or Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or Rumble or on and on and on and on. There's a boatload of them. I'm thinking the 60,000 man army is in there, and they're using the same. They're, hey, if it works, it works, right? So it worked to get us where the black hats wanted us. And white hats can use the same kind of programming and deception and predictive programming, et cetera, et cetera. It's all the same tricks to get us the fuck out of it. And so this is what I'm seeing. And the messaging that I have been getting from the military all summer and into the fall: chaos, discord, war. Chaos, discord, war. Martial law, mass arrest, victory, and power. This is what they have been hammering me with. And in the last few weeks, the the amount of messaging has dropped way down. Has dropped way down. So instead of 20, 30, 40, 50 messages a day, um, there can be days go by and I have not picked up on one. Or the next day, one or two. Um, and in this lull, um, the comms that have come have been, uh, I'm going to say, solid. They're um, they're solid. And then what blew me away here, I think less than a week, was at nighttime where the lights are a triangle. And I can't see the bird, but man, oh man, it was low and it sure sounded like a jet. It sounded big, but it didn't have a green light anywhere. And the light, three lights, red and white, three locations of a red and a white light in a triangle shape. Uh, the that and it was 8:48, 8:48 p.m. I don't know what that means because that's 20 or 2. It's 20 or 2. Now 8:43 would be 19. And 19 is power number. And 8 for 8, I don't know, can we manipulate that into 88? I don't know. Eight wars ended in 8 years. Two 88-foot flagpoles. I don't know, and no one communicates with me. So it was the Q-tards over on News Treason and Rambo and Friends that gave me the answers I was looking to. I'm getting hit with 22s and 5.5s. And I don't know what these 22s and 5.5s are. But Q-tards, they straightened me out. And that's not an insult. They're proud to be called Q-tards. But drop 22 refers to martial law, and 5.5 is hands up, the arrest, the mass arrest. So I tried getting through to Dave over at News Treason. The best I could get was close to one of his admins who told me, good luck. All right, good luck. Not, hey, we'll try and help you. We'll pass this information along, see that Dave gets it. No, none of that. Good luck, buddy. And they do a call in, a weekly call in. I can't even get into the room. I can't even get access to the room to try and get in the room. And there's been times where I'm on one of their live streams and I put comments in the live chat, and they're wormholed into another dimension. And here back in the beginning of September, I was able to track down Rambo, Joe Rambo. And we had our first communication. I'm still waiting for our first conversation. I'm still waiting for our first conversation. Now, I could fit into their shows in so many ways, right? Because I can talk about the military civilian alliance. I can talk about the medical. I can talk about the courts. I could tell my story, but that ain't gonna happen with me keeping my mouth silent on flag law. And none of these motherfuckers will talk flag law. That's got to tell you something. None of them will talk flag law. And none of them want to talk about the bar. And I like to bring the kiss. Keep it stupidly simple. Keep it stupidly simple. Why? Because if the stupid can comprehend it, then us dumbed down, we can own it. So here, where do you go to get a fishing license? Where do you go to get a hunting license? Where do you go to get a driver's license? Where do you go to get a license to practice medicine? Where do you get a license to be a dentist? Where do you get a license for anything? Some type of State Department, Secretary of State, some type of State Department, right? Where do you get a license to practice law? Am I hearing crickets? I'm going to ask again. Where do you or anyone get a license to practice law? You don't. It does not exist. A bar card, British, accredited Regency card for attorney is a private membership club. There is no State Department. It is the British. And your circuit courts, your district courts, your federal courts, they're all Admiralty Maritime courts. They're slave courts. And the yellow fringe flag is a mutilated flag, tied off with a tassel. And what's on top in those courts? Is it wings up? Is it wings down? Is it wings out? What does that mean? One's Vatican, one's banking, one's executive. But who wants to talk about flag law? Whose flag is it? It's the British. It's in the bar courts. Where does anyone get a license to practice law? What State Department issues a license to practice law? Ding, 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 ding. You see why none of these motherfuckers will platform me? That is the simplest motherfucking thing to comprehend out of this whole fucking mess. Yet who will talk about it? Nobody. What group of men will get together and walk into a circuit court or a district court and capture that foreign flag? That flag that stands for no nation, no constitution. It's a pirate flag. It's a fucking pirate flag. Pure and simple, pirate flag. Oh, but you go into court, into these fake courts, these slave courts, scared to death, got your British agent with you. Please, Your Honor, please, Your Honor. There are no fucking juries. Your juries would be your judges. Can that be any simpler for you to comprehend. Where do you get a license to practice law? I'm going to take a look at the chat, see if there's any comments in the chat. No comments in the chat. How many people are here? Down to one. You see, even the people don't want to hear this. One between YouTube and Rumble. This is live right now, YouTube and Rumble. Where do you get a license to practice law? You don't. Because it does not exist. And why do you think you need a license for anything? Because we have been manipulated into that by the bar, by the British. So, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and close it off here. I'm really glad that the video quality is good. It gives me a good feeling. That's something I'm not going to be concerned about if that's the case. If that's the case, I no longer have to be concerned about that. Every time I can get rid of a concern, I'm a happy pappy. Wi-Fi is gone. That was toxifying me 24/7. Gonzo, this amplifier for the signal. I get done with the live stream. I'm gonna unplug that bitch. Gonzo. I won't need it till the next time I live stream. So I wish you the very best, and that you're able to start eliminating concerns. And I guess I'll say it again. Save a veteran. These veterans they're on their knees. They're bent over a barrel and they're taking their lives. They are taking their own lives. And this is a waste. This is a huge waste. And so, how about some of you good souls get together and save 5 veterans, and then give them funds to get to Kalkaska and be able to stay in Kalkaska for 1-2 weeks. And I and those men will flip Kalkaska County. Old Fat Fuckford and Wagon Tails and Poopy Pants Popa and Judge Butt Boudet and that whole fucking crowd out on their fucking ears. Gonzo. And then the people are in control. And then the rest of the country can see that happen. And it'd be that simple. That simple. At any rate, I love you. I'm going to keep on fighting for you. I'm going to keep standing firm. I'm going to keep critically thinking and observating what the fuck is going on out there. And I'll do my best to help figure it out and try and bring a little bit of sanity into the mix. All right. All right. I'll check the chat one more time. All right. Nothing in the chat. Love you all. I'll be back.